Hi, friends. It looks like I'm live. I am just waiting for my devices to catch up. Welcome to Tuesday Live. I see a couple of you here already in the comments. I hope you all are having a wonderful day so far. There we go. It looks like it's live. Let's mute myself there. All right, friends. Well, I am going to be creating a very tropical feeling uh, cocktail themed card today. And I'm excited to share with you. Hi, friends. Hi, Donna. Happy to see you. Hi, Cheryl and Marilyn and Amy and Carol. All right, let me get my desktop set up here so I can see myself live, but also see your comments. And there is Heather. Heather is the person typing behind the Pinkfresh Studio name today, so my partner in crime. She will be in the comments chatting with you, answering questions, catching things that I happen to miss once I start creating. I don't see everything once I flip the camera around and we start making all the things. So Heather does a great job of catching the things that I do miss. Now, if we both miss it, just re-ask or mention it again. Sometimes comments really fly, so we do miss things here and there. Also, if you are in the chat, feel free to answer a question if you know it, if you know the answer. Before we get going, first and foremost, welcome to everyone. If you're new here or your first time joining us, be sure to let us know in the comments. We love to give you a warm welcome. I'm going to give you a blanket welcome now because I may not see it if you share it in the comments once I start creating. So welcome, whether you're new or Pinkfresh Studio Live veteran, we're happy that you're here and sharing your Tuesday afternoon with us. So we give away a $15 gift card code at the end of every live. All you have to do is what you're already currently doing, just chat with us in the live chat. Every entry that, or excuse me, every comment in the live chat acts as an entry into the giveaway. Another way that you can gain an extra entry is underneath the video, there is a button that has an arrow that says share next to it. Tap that and share somewhere, whether you share to your own Facebook page and Instagram. Maybe you have like a crafty message or email with friends that you can share it into. And then finally, if there is a Facebook crafting group that you frequent and it follows within their rules and guidelines and you can share it there, feel free to share. Come back here, let us know you shared in the comments and it's just an extra entry into the giveaway. All right, I think I've gone over all of the logistics. And I see a couple people questions about our watercolor release that was supposed to happen yesterday. Unfortunately, at the very last minute, we ran into an unforeseen problem, but we are getting it resolved and we are hoping to have the corrected or the new release date for those liquid watercolor in the next couple of days. So we will announce the new release date as soon as we possibly can. So keep a lookout on all of our different social media platforms. Well, I'm sure we will share there. Okay, about 5 minutes in, I think we've given enough time for people to find us. Of course, this will be available for replay once I end the live stream. So you can watch or rewatch whenever you have a moment. So bear with me while I flip my camera around and let's get going. All right, so today we are going to be using the cheers, and we will get to that. But first, before we do that, we are actually going to do some BetterPress, just a quick BetterPress panel with the Berries and Blossoms press plate. So I'm going to set aside my Cheers product, and let's go ahead and get our BetterPress prepped. So this is just a piece of the porcelain BetterPress cotton cardstock. I like the bigger area just because I feel like it gives me more room if like maybe I don't exactly line up with the grid lines perfectly. It just gives me a little bit of room for error, I guess. So, the what I'm going to do is I am just going to tape this cotton paper down to of course, I'm now forgetting the words for everything. I get them and then I don't use them enough and I forget what each piece is called. So I am just taping it to the 5x7 grids on that top plate first. So that will all stay in place here. And then I'm going to grab the berries and blossom press plate and add it into or to the magnetic um, plate here. So you'll see it does fit within A2. I use the bigger size. You could always do that smaller A2 size piece as well. I just feel better about having a bigger area to make sure I will absolutely cover the whole entire piece and not have any slipping. This is super fun. So this is going to create the most fantastic background and it is so super easy. Let me really quickly grab my die cut machine so we're ready to run it through when it's time. So I'm just going to get it ready. I might move it out of my way for now so it's a little bit easier to see the inking up process. And then let's grab the ink colors we're going to use. So for this one, we are going to do a combination of waterfall and peony. And we're just going to kind of go about half and half. And so I'm doing about half with the watercolor and then half with the peony. Now, if you are new to BetterPress, something that I wanted to mention is they work beautifully with our dye inks. So you don't only have to use the specific inks that are out there for the BetterPress. You certainly can use them. Now, these are not meant for water-based techniques. So this will be only if you're using them just to get that letterpress feel. So no water-based techniques when using our dye inks. Good. They do make really fantastic backgrounds. So I am going to go ahead and run this through my die cut machine really quickly. I might have to shift to have enough room. It's that plague of not having very much desk space. And I'm going to carefully take this out, move this out of my way, and let's take a peek at our result. And look at how fun that is. Now, I maybe missed a little bit of inking right there in the middle, but you want to know what? We're going to put stuff over the top of it. So it is really not a big deal. I'm not going to worry about the fact that I maybe could have done a little bit of a better job getting the ink there in the middle. So I am going to go ahead and get my plate cleaned up real quick. They suggest using the Ranger Archival, goodness, cleaner. I have just been using isopropyl alcohol and it has worked wonderfully. So I'm just going to stick with that, but feel free to use whatever cleaner you see fit. And let's remove this and I'll give you a closer peek at how awesome this background turned out. I mean, like, look at how beautiful. I wish video showed how beautiful the impression is. It's just lovely. And as you can see, I did miss a little bit here, but I'll strategically cover this up so that the areas where I didn't do a very good job of adding ink will be fully covered up. All right, and go ahead and put the press plate away. And put away my BetterPress, and we will move on to creating the cheers section of this card. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside for now. Let's grab our cheers. Now, I already actually have the stamp ready to go in my stamping platform. Apparently, I was super prepared today. Although I may need to adjust because I think I stamped it on a different size sheet. So let's go ahead and just do a quick adjustment on that. Oh, Amy, for this one, I didn't use watercolor paper. I used the porcelain cotton paper that Spellbinders sells for the BetterPress system. So just for reference on that. All right, so I like to um, stamp and ink blend the Cheers image on a little bit larger piece of cardstock because it's kind of a long and skinny image, but I do like to have room for my magnets when they're in my stamping platform. So I don't mind using a little bit of extra space. I can use those corners for stamping sentiments, die cutting extra, goodness, sorry about that. Die cutting extra layers and all of that. Let me make sure I didn't totally make that crooked. There we go. Sorry about that, friends. Um, I like to do a little bit larger surface area when I'm stamping this set. Pretty much when I'm stamping all sets, if I'm being honest. Heather makes a good point. Our watercolor paper works amazing on for BetterPress. I just didn't use it today because it's I'm pairing this with really white cardstock, and our watercolor paper is a little bit more of a natural white. So I felt like the porcelain BetterPress is a little bit whiter, a little bit more bright white than ours. So I went with the cotton paper. So I am starting out by stamping this image in Metropolis. I am going to leave the stamp in my stamping platform because I'm going to bring this back to my stamping platform and re-stamp in detail black when all is said and done. But for now, we're going to leave it as is. So the reason why, got to straighten that out, that's bugging me. There we go. The reason why I stamped in Metropolis first is because our detail black ink is hybrid, which makes it perfect for pretty much any technique out there, water-based, ink blending, all of that. However, it is hybrid, so it takes a little bit of time to dry. So with that being said, I don't want to smear it. So I'm going to ink blend over top of dye ink and then put my image back into my stamping platform and restamp in detail black. And that does two things. It makes sure that that black ink doesn't smear. And two, it also gives me a nice crisp impression, which we're doing a lot of ink blending over top of this, and we're going to ink blend over top of the stamping. And I always feel like that kind of dulls that impression a little bit. So even if I am not using a hybrid ink, I oftentimes will just re-stamp anyway to get a nice crisp impression again. So, couple of reasons why I do that. So we are just starting with the stencils. I'm going to do all of the stencils in order. I am aligning the stencil openings up with that stamped image. And we will just go color by color. I will use probably a couple of different colors on each stencil. I'm just going to go one at a time though, just so it's a little easier to see what I'm doing and the different colors. We are going to start with Waterfall. And I am making a blue cocktail. And I've never actually drank a blue cocktail in my life, but I know that they do make blue cocktails. So it's safe to say that this is technically still going to be a realistic cocktail. And I just thought it'd be fun. I have done lots of pink cocktails. I've done red ones. I've done ones that are supposed to look like champagne, but I haven't done this like really lovely turquoise blue. So I thought this would be a really fresh kind of tropical-y summer fill today. And I think it's going to be super fun. So we're starting out the drink in Waterfall. And then we're going to go ahead and do the first part of the greenery in Mint. Isn't that a stunning blue? I just think it's a beautiful cocktail. And you'll notice I didn't blend it super smoothly because if you think about when you look at a drink and a cocktail, um, based on like where the ice is and where you might have, parts of the cocktail that settled, it's not going to be even. So I kind of chose to blend a little bit uneven here and there to kind of make it look a little bit more like a realistic cocktail. So let's go ahead and go in with mint to do the first part of the greenery layers. A little sprig of, I'm not sure, maybe thyme leaves would be a good match for what that little sprig is. In the end, really doesn't matter. It's just a cute little piece of greenery. And I'm using small brushes so I can avoid doing any overlapping. If you were using bigger brushes, you could always just grab a Post-it note or a piece of scrap paper and just cover the areas so you don't accidentally overlap, because I definitely don't want the mint green and that waterfall turquoise to overlap, especially in the drink. Okay, so go ahead and buff this clean, and let's move on to stencil number 2. I love the mint color as well, Laura. It's such a beautiful light shade of green. Okay, so the next stencil number 2, is the next set of details on the cocktail, and then it's also the detail layers for the greenery. If you line up that the little top piece of the drink, pretty much the rest of the stencil falls right into place. So let's start with those drink details. We are going to just move right up one shade, but I am going to quickly clean my brush out. I'm just going to dry clean it. I don't really feel the need to use the rubbing alcohol method. I'm just going to tap out any excess darker tone that might be in it. We'll call that good. And let's go ahead and grab, or excuse me, blend the second layer of drink details in, trying to avoid those greenery pieces as much as I can. All right, I feel like that looks pretty good. Then let's switch on over to Meadow, which is just the next shade of color up from that mint green. And let's finish off the greenery details. This just adds a little something extra to all the middles of those greenery pieces. Not worried so much about shading on those because they're fairly small. It's mostly just about getting the color in there. All right. Oh, hi, Barb. Man, visiting us again from Hawaii, Oahu. That is awesome. Sounds fun. All right, so we have our greenery. Look at how fun those turned out. And then the start of our drink coming together here. All right, so we are moving right along to stencil number 3. This is where we are going to start blending in the berries and the flower. I am not going to blend the straw in on this one. So I will just avoid it. I don't feel the need to mask it off because I am using our smaller 1/2-inch brushes, but you always could. So I'm going to start with peony first. And we are going to blend in the flower. And we're going to start the strawberry. We're going to come in with a little bit more color in the strawberry though. We're just starting it with peony, and same with that cherry. We're just starting it with peony. But now we're going to grab Berry Licious and we're going to add to the cherry and the strawberry. So let's grab this and we're going to make that cherry, or excuse me, the strawberry a little bit more red. We're keeping some of that peony at the bottom. And then same with the cherry. The cherry is going to be a bit more red. I'm just going to leave a little bit of that peony at the very, very bottom. I think that looks perfect. Well, as I mentioned, I'm leaving the straw white So I am not going to touch that, guys. So we are done with stencil number 3. Oh, I'm glad you guys are enjoying the colors. You know, it's pretty warm here in Minneapolis, and just kind of feeling the tropical summer cocktail vibes. So, all right, stencil number 4 is a whole lot of details. And basically, if you line up those little um, areas on the straw, the rest of the little detailed layers come right into play. Basically, it brings the stencil right into place where it needs to be. So for this one, we're actually going to we're actually only going to use Berrylicious. I don't want to get any of the Berrylicious. Oh no, I'm sorry. We do have some drink details too. I don't want to get any of the Berrylicious in those drink details. So I'm just going to use a little bit of spare tape I have, because it does get a little bit close on that straw. And I'm just going to cover up those areas, and we'll do those here in just a moment. All right, for these detail layers, I am just blending Berrylicious over top of Berrylicious again, but I am going to blend Berrylicious over top of the peony flower. And then we're also going to add in the straw details with the Berrylicious as well. Okay. Right, I'm going to go ahead and clean the stencil off really quickly so I don't accidentally dip my hand in red ink and then get it everywhere. Now let's go ahead and remove little masking pieces I had. We're going to grab Paradise ink and we're going to finish off that cocktail. Now I might actually grab this and cover up the straw. I don't want that beautiful red stripe on the straw to accidentally get blended over. I am avoiding that little straw piece right there. I don't want to blend red over top of the aqua. So I am just going to leave it be. We're going to pretend like it's not there. So I'm just focusing on getting that last little bit of the drink detail done. And we are moving along quite well. We only have 2 stencils left. And look at how fun this is turning out. Just love the drinks, all of the fun little drink details. So all we have left are our citrus slices or pieces, and I'm going to do these in yellow. These are definitely going to be lemons. I feel like yellow, for me, is the best matching choice for this, the turquoise blues and the kind of pinky reddish tones we chose here. So we are going to start with Lemon Whip. Perfect name, right? And we're just going to ink blend in the first layer. I am blending a little deeper at the center of the full lemon slice here, and then just kind of blending it out lighter towards the edge. And then for the, it is still a slice, it's just kind of less of a slice, like half of a slice. We are going to blend more towards the bottom and then blend it out to be a little deeper at the edge. All right. 1 stencil left, friends, which is the ice cubes, which I am ignoring. We're just going to leave those as is. And then the final layer of the lemons. I have been pretty intent on ink blending here, so I've missed most of the comments, but I am hoping you guys are having a good time so far. It seems like we've got a lot of chatter about the hot foil event coming up on Saturday, so super excited for you guys. I am technically a teacher in the event, but as most of the event attendees know, for those anyway that were able to either attend the unboxing live or watch it on replay. I am pre-recording my content because I have a funeral to attend on Saturday for my cousin. So sad to not be able to do the event live with you all, but happy that we have the technology that I could pre-record my content so you don't miss out on anything. And um, I will be with you guys in spirit. And I hope you all have a wonderful time. Okay, so there is the final stencil layer. Are you all ready for the final reveal here? Ta-da! Look at how fun that turned out. I am loving the fun colors today. Thank you, Holly. I appreciate that. Okay, let's I'm going to put aside the stencils. I will clean them later when the live is over. I can put those away. Let's go ahead and grab, or excuse me, put this back in our stamping platform. Just going to verify that it still lines up, and it sure does. And we are going to restamp in detail black ink. Right, I want to keep that nice dainty line, so I'm going to stamp with a pretty light touch. I can always restamp again if I need to, but actually that's perfect. I don't even need to restamp. And look at how vibrant. I feel like adding that crisp black line just made the colors even more vibrant. Um, I am just loving it. Okay, I'm going to clean my stamp really quickly just to get as much of that detail black residue off of it as possible. I'll probably clean it again when the live is over, but I want to get as much of that off as I can. Well, Barb, I originally had stamped in Metropolis for reference. It's what it looked like before I restamped. That's what I had used. Nice and clean. I can get my stamping platform out of the way for now. Let's see here. What do I have left to do? Oh, I will say that I actually went ahead and I did one previous before because I want two cups because I want them to kind of look like they are cheersing each other, but I knew I wouldn't have time to ink blend two sets. So by the magic of the internet, I have two now. So let's go ahead and die cut all of those pieces really quickly with the coordinating one piece die. The great thing about the coordinating one piece die is you just line it up once and you get to cut out all of those elements at one time. I think we have a question on my blues. I'll pull them out really quickly. These were the three colors that all of the drink was blended in. So it started with waterfall, the second drink layer was turquoise, and the final was paradise, just for reference. All right, let's go ahead and get these cut out. Checking the time, it looks like we're pretty good on time here. These nice and lined up. I always like to take a little bit of extra time to get everything lined up when you're using those bigger, bigger one piece dies. All right. I'm going to run this first set through and I'll be right back. I see Donna had mentioned she's never successfully restamped. Something that I would suggest looking at is the hinge. If you're using any type of stamping platform, whether it's a MISTI or not, I have had a hinge go bad on mine before. So then ever so slightly, it does shift. So maybe think of looking at that and making sure the hinge is um nice and uh doesn't move when you are what's the word I'm looking for? When you're moving the window back and forth. So take a look at that. I have had a hinge wear out on a couple of Misties before, so just something to think of. If you think about how much we use our products, um, it is understandable that sometimes here and there things might stop working. So just something to look at anyway. And then, of course, just making sure you've aligned it into one corner of your stamping platform. Hopefully those help. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get these ones cut out, and then we'll have all of these elements, and then I need to trim down the berries and blossoms background, and probably good to go until we need to do a sentiment. All right. And there we have our second set of all those goodies. I probably won't use every single piece, but I knew I wanted to have the two glasses to kind of act like they are cheersing each other. And you might as well do all of the pieces, right? If you're going to do the one thing, you might as well just have them all. And then I can always add these to future cards as well. And I think I saw somebody mention that they feel like they could, oh, right here, it's Crimson Rose Creations. She said she can see herself using this for holiday, retirement. Congrats. Absolutely. There are so many fantastic uses for this set. I didn't realize I have these all off camera. That's okay. All right, I'm going to set the Cheers die set aside for now because we'll probably use it later for one of the sentiments, but I'm not quite ready for sentiments yet. I'm going to grab that BetterPress background and the largest stitched rectangle die, and we're going to get it cut into a panel. It's going to trim some of the edges off. That's totally fine. I just want to have this fun BetterPress design for my background. So just getting that nice and lined up. I'm going to tape it down. And we will start assembling the card, and then we'll do our sentiment and finish it up. Christina, I'm so happy you're joining. It's like stuck. There we go. Hopefully that cut. It did. Oh, look at how fun that looks with, I love how it's edge to edge, a little bit overlapping, and it's got that lovely stitched edge to it. I think it's just going to be a fantastic background. Okay. Get this die set put away so I don't misplace it. We want it that way because we want the strawberries to hang the right way. Okay. Now, one thing that I did pre-die cut beforehand was this, the slim stitched scallop rectangles. I am going to use it to anchor the cheers, the cheersing glasses at some point. I'm not completely sure how I'm going to do that quite yet, but we'll get to that when we're assembling it. But I did go ahead and pre-die cut that from some of our gold glitter cardstock. So I have those elements as well. And I've got a couple of card bases. So let's start to assemble our card, and then we will get the sentiment done. So first things first, I have to decide if I want to do a blue card base or a pink card base. I think I'm leaning towards pink since I have so much blue already. Yeah, it's kind of a lot of blue. So I think I'm going to go with the pink card base. We will save that blue card base for a later date. Now I know I'm going to pop up the frame, so I am just going to glue this down directly to my card base with some liquid glue. Maybe. It's being fussy with me, of course. It's not unusual these days. I can typically fix it pretty quickly. So let me do that really quick. Thanks, guys. I'm glad you're enjoying how this card is coming together. Sometimes you don't know. I had all these pieces and I'm still, somewhat second guessing myself if using them all together is the right thing, but we're going with it. I'm trusting the process, and hopefully here in the end, it is going to look fun, hopefully. I like them all individually. I'm still, I'm just hoping that it all looks right when I get it all together here. All right. Okay, so there is that piece. So now I have to decide. I know I'm going to pop this frame up with foam and use it to kind of frame my cheersing cups here. And we'll tuck in little things here and there. I'm trying to decide if I want to use both layers and pop one up and keep one not popped up. Let's see. That's actually really pretty. Ooh, okay. I definitely like the double frames. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to add some foam tape to the back of the outer frame. And then we will just glue the inner one down. So let's add this on here so I can see about approximately how much foam tape I need to add to each side. Okay. I think this will probably be sufficient. It's kind of poking outside, but that's okay. Okay. Well, that's fun. All right. I'm gonna remove the release paper here. Glad you guys are loving the combos here. Thank you for the reassurance on that. I think Julie asked when anybody has had to replace their platinum. So far, Julie, I mean, I have a couple of them now that I've just accumulated, but I haven't replaced any per se. I do have one that I use exclusively for foiling and BetterPress. I don't die cut with it. So that might help its longevity, but I certainly haven't actually just full on replaced any yet. Hopefully that helps answer your question a little bit. All right, that looks nice. I'm gonna just trim it from the back. And then I can always use that extra little leftover piece on a different card. Take the little bit of excess foam tape off of it. All right, and then for this one, I think we're just gonna tuck it in and nest it on the inside and give a little bit of dimension here and there. I think that's really pretty. These are, how big are they? Let me grab a ruler. One second. So these are 1/8 inch foam strips, and I just get them on Amazon. I think if you search thin foam strips, you can find them. Um, and then I think there are quite a few companies that are also carrying them, but we do not carry them at Pinkfresh Studio. All right, I'm just kind of approximating how much liquid glue I'm going to need here. Hopefully that's about enough. Okay, and I'm just going to tuck this in here. I like liquid glue for stuff like this because it gives you time to wiggle it around into place. Make sure it's nice and straight. Now I can trim the excess away. And that can also be used on a different card. So I'll just set it aside. And we have the start of our card here, friends. All right, so let's see here. I'm gonna cover up those areas where I did a bad job of adding the BetterPress. I want them to look a little bit like they're cheersing here. And I need some room for a sentiment. And then we also got to add some fruits in, of course. I think we will snip here and add some of the lemons like this. Thanks, guys. I'm glad you liked how I used the frame. Appreciate that. And this one, let's see, where are you going to go? I think you have to kind of go in the same place. If I do it opposite one, perfect. Just like that. You know what? I might flip those around and put that one on the front. There we go. Okay. Pardon me. Sorry, guys. Had a little sneeze there. Hoofda. Okay. So then let's add, I might actually trim a little bit of this off. Let's add out there. This is where I just kind of chat to myself. So hopefully that's okay with everybody. Aren't they, the lemon slice is just adorable. I think they turned out so darn cute. I add. All right. I think before I start adding too many of these things, I need to just secure the drinks in place and probably get a sentiment figured out. So let's do that really quickly. Got about 15 minutes left. I think I can do it. Let's put that there. And this one, let's do a little glue and tuck it into place right there. There we go. I like that. Turn around a little bit more. Cuter. All right. So I'm going to put just a little bit of liquid glue down the center of that one. I might glue it in place a little bit more uh, after I have put everything in place. But for now, let's see, I'm just going to do a little bit here and there so that I can kind of tuck fruits and such. All right, and then this one, I'm going to put some foam tape underneath it. Oh, let's, before we add the little pieces. Let's get a sentiment done. So I know I want to use the cheers sentiment for sure. Let me just grab a piece of scrap cardstock. We'll just grab one of those ones that I had, oopsies, used. Make sure that the tape didn't get too much of it up. I have to trim some off anyway. Go. Okay. Let's grab the cheers here. My Misty does match my drink. Good observation. I didn't even really think about that. All right. So I think we are going to stamp our cheers sentiment in peony. Now I have stamped this sentiment a couple of times already, so it doesn't need to be, didn't need to prep it with like an eraser or anything like that because I have already done that, but it is quite solid. So if you're having troubles with it uh, taking ink, just put an eraser over it a couple of times and then clean it and you should be good to go. Okay, so we've got that. We have our cheers. Now let's also grab one of the secondary sentiments. Let me see, which one do I want to use? I think I like the one that says either time to celebrate you or this calls for cocktails. And I think, maybe I'll do time to celebrate. That's kind of fun. And I'm just going to grab another piece of scrap here. So I just use it all up. And I'm just going to trim this guy into a little strip. So I'm going to go ahead. Whoopsies. I had forgotten to remove the cheers stamp. Okay. I'm also avoiding where the tape had kind of lifted up some of the paper. Okay. And I'm going to do this in detail black. And I am just barely touching the surface of the stamp with the ink because I want to maintain the daintiness of it. So I don't mind stamping a couple of times to get a good impression. Cynthia's asking if any eraser works for prepping a stamp to take ink. I think so. I just use like a standard pink one. So yeah, I think you are fine to use any type of eraser on that. And that's just how I do it. I think that there are ways that people prep their stamps in different ways. That just happens to be how I use it. Okay. Let's get our sentiment cut out real quick. Grab that coordinating die. Oh, thanks, friends. I'm glad you're liking how my card turned out. I think it's coming together pretty well. Okay. Use up some of these pieces of tape before I toss them. Don't move on me. Bear with me while I concentrate on getting this lined here. Okay. Run this through my machine. Ooh, let's do this the right way here. Brenda, you don't have to prep every stamp, but for me, especially using them with dye ink, Stamps that are a little bit more solid, I just feel like they work a little bit better when you prep them. Like, you kind of erase off manufacturing dust, that kind of stuff, the glossy shine of when they're brand new, and they just take a little bit of, they just tint, especially dye ink, a little bit easier in my book. One more layer here, and that should be plenty. Right. That, this tape can go away. Okay. Let's get these glued together. Pop out that little chad, maybe. There we go. Okay. Go ahead and glue these. Oh, thank you, Leanne. Sorry to hear about your computer. Glad you're able to watch on your phone. Just stacking the sentiment for a little added dimension, make it a little easier, a little bit more rigid when I'm going to place it on my card, a bit more sturdy. Okay. All right. Let's trim this sentiment down. I love the cocktail themed sentiments to Michelle and stamp sets. They're super fun. Ooh, I did not leave myself very much room here to cut. I'm gonna have to be strategic, holding it in place. That was maybe not super smart. Okay, there we go. That actually went pretty well, considering. Did not leave myself very much room on that. Okay, now let's see. I need some scissors. Let's see, how do I want to do this? So I think cheers is going to go right here. And then I think the time to celebrate you is going to tuck under. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim a little off here. And then I think I am going to make a little banner edge. Find my ruler really quickly. We have, there it is. Couldn't find my pencil. So I probably will not add jewels to the card today because I am starting to run out of time. And honest truth, I'm not exactly sure what jewels I want to use. So I probably will just leave it at adding the sentiments and um, putting the fruit in place. And then you'll just have to, once I add the photos to the image, you guys will see what jewels I decide to use. But right now, I'm just not completely sure what I plan on using. I do like to draw my banner lines with a pencil. I just feel like it makes it a little bit easier for me to see when I'm trimming them. There. And easy as pie, making your own little banner without a die. It's exactly how I'm going to add the sentiment here. Okay. Let's just add a little bit of liquid glue, and we're going to tuck it underneath that stem. Okay. And then we'll add the cheers to the top. So cute. All right, now let's add some fruits. So I think this guy is going to kind of tuck here and add a little strawberry. And decide, do I want more lemon? Nah, I don't think so. So I think we'll add the little cherry up here. So I might do that. Do the cherry and the strawberry together. And then add a tiny bit of greenery like that. That's kind of cute. All right. Don't think I'm going to use those extra pieces. I think we're going to call that good. It's got quite a bit going on already. So let's go ahead and just get these glued into place. I'm glad you guys like how I made my little banner. It's just a super easy way to add a banner without having to break out a die. All right, cuteness. I will probably add a couple jewels to this, but I'm just not sure which ones I want to add right now. So I will add those after the fact here. But there is our fun little cheers card. I think that turned out super fun, and we're coming in right at the end of time. I think it would be fun, and I may add a little bit of glitter glue into the ice cubes, not for sure yet, just to make them a little glittery and shimmery as well. But I think that turned out super cute. All right, let me get this switched around. Heather will announce a winner here shortly, and we will let you guys go for the day. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I appreciate you spending the last hour with me on a Tuesday afternoon. It is, we're grateful for the time that you share with us. And if you weren't able to make it live when you're watching on replay, we're grateful for you too. That's why we do what we do. And we're happy to be able to offer free lives for inspiration with our product. I see we have a winner. Congratulations to Cynthia Swinton. I hope I said that correctly. You are today's winner of the $15 gift card code. Email me. My email is leah@pinkfreshstudio.com to claim your prize, and give me about 2 to 3 business days to get back to you. So this is our only live for the week. We are now to a point where we will, for now, just be offering card making lives because we are taking a short break from scrapbooking products. So I am gone for the next couple of weeks. And then both Heather and I will be gone the 3rd week in July. So you're going to have Heather for a couple of weeks here, and then we'll take a week off, and then I'll be back at the very end of July. So I'm not going to see you guys for a while. So have a great start of your summer. Have a wonderful July, and I will see you guys at the end of July back here on the Pinkfresh Studio YouTube channel. Have a great week. And Heather and Kinnery will see you here next week. Same time, same place. Bye.